will begin Part A with the first conversation. Number 1.
How's that project in your economics class coming along?
I just put the finishing touches on it this morning.
What does the woman mean? Number 2.
You are such a good listener. What's your secret?
Well, when you grow up sharing a room with 3 older brothers, you get plenty of practice.
What can be inferred about the man? Number 3.
Didn't Mary invite you to come with us to the movies tonight?
She did, but I told her no. I didn't like that movie the first time around.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 4.
This rash on my arm is driving me crazy. What do you think it could be?
I really couldn't say for sure, but it looks like something you ought to have checked out.
What does the man imply the woman should do? Number 5.
Jim, have you seen the photos from Rachel's party? There's a really funny one of you dancing in the living room.
Oh yeah, that one. I don't think I'll ever live it down.
What does the man mean? Number 6.
It's been hot and humid for 3 weeks straight. I wish it had let up.
I love summer weather, but there is a limit.
What does the woman mean? Number 7.
You probably shouldn't keep the clothes in the dryer for longer than 45 minutes.
Oh no, I've already had them in there for an hour.
What will the man probably do next? Number 8.
Is it too late for me to withdraw from my music class?
Not that I know of.
What does the man mean? Number 9.
Thank goodness spring break starts next week. Are you doing anything special?
I had been planning to go to Florida with a friend of mine, but since she's backed out, everything's sort of on hold.
What does the woman mean? Number 10.
I really enjoyed the play. The students did a great job with the scenery. It looked so authentic. I felt like I was back in the 19th century.
I wish you could say the same thing about the costumes.
What does the woman imply? Number 11.
Hey, I see you're reading that new bestseller. Is it any good?
It got off to a slow start, but it's starting to pick up a little now.
What does the man mean? Number 12.
I've been trying to solve this puzzle for hours, but I just can't seem to get it.
Well, if you can't, I don't stand a chance.
What does the woman imply? Number 13.
Will you be finished soon? I have to make 10 copies of this report to share with my class tomorrow.
I'm finished, but that's an awful lot of pages. You'll probably have to add some paper.
What will the man probably do? Number 14.
I'm going over to see a car someone has for sale. It's just a year old, and it's supposed to be in excellent condition. Do you want to come with me to take a look at it? With all your experience as a mechanic, I'd appreciate your opinion.
That was 20 years ago. Cars have changed so much, I'm not sure how much help I'd be, but sure, I'll come along for the ride.
What does the man imply? Number 15.
Are you ready to start studying for the test yet? Or are you too wrapped up in that TV show?
Ask me again in about half an hour.
What will the woman probably do next? Number 16.
That rusty old bicycle has been just sitting out there in front of the dormitory since we got to campus 6 months ago. We should get rid of it.
I wish we could just do that. Whose is it anyway?
What does the woman imply they should do? Number 17.
I didn't know you lived in an apartment. Why didn't you get housing in a dorm?
Only first-year students are guaranteed space.
What can be inferred about the man? Number 18.
It seems like we've been walking all day. I could go for a glass of iced tea.
Okay. My treat, though, since you picked up the tab last time.
What does the man mean? Number 19.
I got out of science class late again. I never make it here to work on time. I hope I don't get in trouble.
The boss is in a good mood. Maybe she'll give you a break. This time.
What does the man say about the boss? Number 20.
I had the best time yesterday with my younger sister. She spent the day with me here on campus. She sat in on one of my classes. She even said she'd like to study here someday.
That's nice, but she's got several years before college. Who knows what she'll want to do when the time comes?
What does the man imply about the woman's sister? Go on to the next page. Number 21.
Oh no! My lunch costs $8, but I only have a 5 in my wallet. Can you help me out?
Sure. Just remember this when I need a ride to town.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 22.
Weren't you the person who said that not many students would sign up for the talent show?
Yeah, I was really off the mark on that prediction.
What can be inferred from the conversation? Number 23.
I'm so sorry I overslept. The whole class will be waiting for us at the museum.
I'm not so sure about that. Remember the letter from the museum said the tour was to start promptly at 9.
What does the woman think will happen? Number 24.
Have you gotten a pay raise in the time you've taught here?
I'm due for my first next year.
What can be inferred about the woman? Number 25.
Oh, Paul, I'm so glad I ran into you. I could sure use a hand carrying these books.
Here, let me take some of those. I don't have to be anywhere till noon, so just tell me where you need to go.
What does the man mean? Number 26.
I can't stand know-it-alls.
Tell me about it. They're one of my pet peeves.
What does the man mean? Number 27.
Since there was no final exam scheduled, I thought I'd be able to leave for winter break a couple of days early.
But our oral presentations are taking a lot longer than Dr. Taylor expected, so he's going to hold class during exam week.
What does the woman imply? Number 28.
It's the third time this week my roommates had a party in our room. This is really starting to affect my classwork. I wonder if I should talk to someone at the housing office about changing rooms.
Sounds like you've got a legitimate reason. You two are just not compatible at all.
What does the woman imply the man should do? Number 29.
You know, Frank's appearance seems to be neater these days. I wonder why.
Maybe he just decided it was time to turn over a new leaf.
What can be inferred about Frank? Number 30.
Quick, bring some paper towels. I dropped the bag with the eggs.
paper towels, you might as well just throw out everything in the bag.
What does the man imply? This is the end of Part A. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. The test continues on side 2. Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part B with the first conversation. Questions 31 through 35. Listen to a conversation between 2 students who meet on campus.
Hi, Dan. You know that lab you missed? You can have my notes.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So how are you feeling?
Much better now that I've begun taking an antibiotic. Student Health gave me one, and it's really helped. You know, it amazes me that the human race survived before antibiotics.
I agree. When my father was a young boy in the 1940s, he got blood poisoning and would have died. But his doctor had heard of this new drug called penicillin.
Wow, he was really lucky. And now we have lots of antibiotics that kill bacteria.
Well, penicillin kills bacteria, but not all antibiotics do. Some just slow the bacteria down until our normal immune defenses can finish the job. Tetracycline works that way.
Wow, you are a fountain of drug trivia. How do you know all this?
My mother used to look up all our medicines, prescription and non-prescription. There are lots of books around. It's interesting. What antibiotic are you taking?
I don't remember. It's on the bottle. I think I'll take a new look at the label and drop by the library to see if they have reference books on medicines. See you in lab tomorrow.
Number 31. What are the speakers mainly discussing? Number 32. What does the woman offer to give the man? Number 33. Why does the woman tell the story about her father? Number 34. Where did the woman learn about antibiotics? Number 35. What will the man probably do next? Questions 36 through 40. Listen to a conversation between two students in the cafeteria.
Hi, Bill. How's it going?
Oh, hi, Jane. I'm okay. How about you?
Well, as you can probably tell just by looking at me, I've been really busy. Hey, what are you reading?
A pretty interesting article. My biology professor assigned it, and I thought I'd just look it over. But I got really involved in it. It's about endangered species.
That sounds pretty interesting. I'm getting frustrated with the 2 research papers I'm struggling with.
Oh?
And can you believe they're both due on the same day?
That's tough.
I'll get through it. So, what's this you're reading?
Well, it's basically about the choices conservationists are faced with. You know, in these days when funding's so hard to come by.
Wait a minute. Is the focus on biology or economics?
Both. Conservationists don't have enough funding to save every endangered species in the world, so they have to decide based on what would be lost if a species became extinct.
Can you give me an example of what you mean?
Take, for instance, 2 animals, the spotted owl and the tailed toad. The article says the toad is unique. It has no relatives, but there are lots of varieties of owls.
So if that toad became extinct, we'd lose an important link in the chain of evolution, right?
Exactly, but that isn't so for the owl. So for conservationists, it might be a clear choice of which animal to save.
I see. I'm glad I don't have to make that kind of decision, aren't you?
Number 36. What are the speakers mainly discussing? Number 37. Why is the woman so busy? Number 38. Why does the woman say she's frustrated? Number 39. What problem do conservationists have? Number 40. What can be inferred about the tailed toad? This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part C are being read. Part C. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and the questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording you hear, "Listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program."
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. The subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions, and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? In your test book, you read A. To demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B. To discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C. To explain the workings of the brain. D. To dramatize a famous mystery story. The best answer to the question, what is the main purpose of the program, is C. To explain the workings of the brain. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to another sample question. Why does the speaker recommend watching the program? In your test book, you read A. It is required of all science majors. B. It will never be shown again. C. It can help viewers improve their memory skills. D. It will help with coursework. The best answer to the question, why does the speaker recommend watching the program, is D. It will help with coursework. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Remember, you are not allowed to take notes or write in your test book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part C with the first talk. Questions 41 through 44. Listen to a talk in an architectural history class.
In my opinion, Frank Lloyd Wright was the greatest American architect of the 20th century. People who know his designs well point out that his roofs often leaked, his ceilings were too low, and his houses were uncomfortable. In my presentation, however, I'll be focusing on the virtues of his designs. From what you'll see, it would be hard to dispute that he manipulated space extremely well. Some of his smallest houses looked gigantic, and he had great respect for the materials he used, and also a tremendous skill for placing his buildings in harmony with nature. Wright's career began when he was young. He was just a teenager when he helped build a chapel on his family's property in Wisconsin. And from there, he got hired as a draftsman by the project architect. So it was a very long career. He died at 91, while his final major work, the Guggenheim Museum, was still being built. Today, we'll cover what are considered to be the two great periods of his career. Wright's works before the Tokyo Imperial Hotel, completed in 1922, and everything after Fallingwater, a private residence in western Pennsylvania, completed in 1936. The first period started around 1896, when he made a dramatic shift from the classical tradition to the arts and crafts movement. Here the emphasis was on order, consistency, and unity of design. Things were kept simple, with minimal decoration. Natural forms were very important. Let's take a look at a slide of his own dining room, done in this style.
Number 41. What is the purpose of the talk? Number 42. What is one criticism of Wright? Number 43. How did Wright's career begin? Number 44. Why does the speaker mention the Imperial Hotel and falling water? Questions 45 through 47. Listen to part of a talk in an astronomy class.
We're going to talk today about the moon, our moon. First of all, the Earth's moon is unusual. Why? It's larger than other moons or satellites in the solar system, in relation to its planet, that is. Its diameter is more than a quarter that of the Earth. And if you compare the Earth and the moon in terms of substance, you'll find the moon isn't much like the Earth. For example, the Earth has a significant iron core, while the moon contains very little heavy material like iron. That's why its density is much lower than that of the Earth. Now, at one time, it was believed that the moon and the Earth were formed at the same time from the same material. But then, wouldn't the moon have as much iron as the Earth? Another theory is that the moon was formed elsewhere in the solar system, and then it was captured, so to speak, by Earth. But studies show that the young Earth would not have had enough gravitational force to stop a body the size of the moon from traveling through the solar system and pull it into orbit. The newest theory is called the Big Splash theory. Here, the new young Earth was hit by another big planet. Most of the colliding planet entered the Earth and became part of it. But the huge impact created vapor that shot out into space and eventually condensed as the moon. Because this material came mostly from the Earth's surface crust, not the iron core, the moon contains almost no iron. Well, as plausible as it sounds, it's only a theory, and we can't be sure that this is what really happened, that this is how the moon originated. Plenty of research remains to be done.
Number 45. What does the professor mainly discuss? Number 46. According to the professor, why do scientists disagree with the theory that Earth captured the moon? Number 47. What information about the moon's composition helps support the Big Splash theory? Questions 48 through 50. Listen to part of a lecture in a psychology class.
In order to diagnose and treat abnormal behavior, we have to start with clear definitions of what is meant by abnormal and normal. Criteria must be worked out for distinguishing one from the other in actual clinical cases. The word abnormal implies a deviation from some clearly defined norm. In the case of physical illness, the boundary lines between normality and pathology are often clearly delineated by medical science, making it easier to diagnose. On the psychological level, however, we have no ideal model to use as a base of comparison, nothing to help us distinguish mental health from mental disorder. The problem of defining abnormal behavior by establishing just what is meant by normal behavior has proved extremely difficult.
However, as Chapter 5 outlines, several criteria have been proposed. One norm described in detail in your text is personal adjustment. An individual who is able to deal with problems effectively without serious anxiety or unhappiness, or more serious symptoms, is said to be well-adjusted. Personal adjustment as a norm has several serious limitations, though. For example, it makes no reference to the individual's role in the group. How are we going to classify, for example, the atypical politician or business person who engages in unethical practices? Either might be a successful, happy, and well-adjusted individual. Obviously, the welfare of the group, as well as that of the individual, must be considered, which brings me to the next approach.
Number 48. What problem concerning abnormal behavior does the instructor discuss? Number 49. Why does the instructor mention physical illness? Number 50. What will the instructor probably discuss next? This is the end of Section 1, Listening Comprehension. Stop work on Section 1.